Is it worth it to install iOS 18 on your iPhone in 2025? Let's discuss. I think we can all agree that Android is the king of customizations. You can customize anything, like you can customize it to the maximum. But with Apple, you couldn't do that, but iOS 18 provided a chance for Apple to do that. And I think iOS 18 is the most customizable version as yet. So let's dive into the pros. So the control center, a complete revamp of the design. It is now a very nice and intuitive design, and you can drag the icons around. You can also change icon sizes, so that's pretty great. Also, it adapts to dark mode, so add it to the Pro color. Let's look at home screen customization. On the home screen, you can change tint colors. You can play around with a lot of those functionalities, but I think this is more for people who are really like in depth. For the general user who just wants to use their iPhone, I don't think they'll be diving deep into actually changing tints and all that. But you know, for some people, this is a pretty cool customization feature that they've added. Let's look at the Passwords app. Now, the Passwords app is pretty much your vault for all your passwords on your iPhone. Wherever you have logged in, if you save the password, then it will save in the Passwords app. And when you unlock it, you'll see all the passwords and all the sites that you have accessed and all the passwords to that. So it's pretty great because it actually helps you with keeping all your security information in one place. The most noticeable, especially for me who uses an iPhone 13, is the calculator. Calculator has significant improvements. You talk about math notes, you talk about the scientific calculator where you can do all your scientific operations. And recently with iOS 18.3, the beta version, even the RC, recently now when you press the equal sign, the calculator will continuously calculate or add to the number that you were already calculating. It wasn't doing this before, so I think this is a pretty cool, a feature, but Android has been doing this for ages, I have to say. Then also you can save the history of your calculations and you actually see that. It wasn't there in the previous version. Then we'll talk about call recording. This is a pretty great feature, I would say. I'm not sure about the feasibility of actually putting it on the call screen itself, as if all the time when you have a call, you have to kind of either choose to record or not. I get it, but maybe I would have put it as a setting somewhere like how some apps do it. But this is a pretty cool feature because you can actually now record all your calls and do that. So most people would want to use it in a more non-legal sense, but in a more legal sense, this is a pretty great way of capturing record information, or if you have something important that you want to capture, it just saves, and it saves in your recordings. Then Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence came with a host of features like Genimoji. You can talk about messaging, some Apple Intelligence features there. Then you can also talk about Siri and ChatGPT, so that's pretty great. The challenging thing is this was not then added to iPhones that are below iPhone 15 Pro, going downwards, like iPhone 14, 13, 12, 11. All of those iPhones do not have Apple Intelligence features. So now let's look at the cons of installing iOS 18 on your iPhone. So number one, network issues. Now, for some people, this is not an issue, but there are some who have been reporting network issues, like when your Wi-Fi just disconnects randomly, or even your network disconnects randomly. And there's a pattern to it, because remember when iOS 18.2 came out, that's when most of these issues started rising. And I actually did a video on that, on network issues, because my phone was also having those challenges. And I would see that they were playing around with the modem firmware a lot. So I don't know if this is going to be really addressed like in the future iOS versions. But it would be great for them to address it, because now it's a bit of a challenge. Battery is definitely something that people look at, especially with these installations. So the battery is really draining for some users, especially for older iPhones, iPhone 13, 12, 11, going downwards, even 14. Some users have reported that their battery is now draining, and I would say possibly because they've added new features in there, especially with Apple Intelligence. Sometimes maybe these features would require dependencies that continuously run on your phone, and then they drain the battery. So that's something somewhat of a con, if I might say. Now let's talk about the battery overheating. Now I've been noticing that whenever I install a beta update, the battery sometimes overheats, especially when you're just doing a normal operation. Sometimes it would overheat when you're doing something that's big, or maybe when you are opening an app that's taking so much of like the phone, the RAM of the phone. But I would then see that even for small operations, the battery was now just overheating. When you open the camera, the battery will overheat, etc. and stuff like that. So definitely this is an issue, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who has faced this issue. Then I think the biggest upset of all is Apple Intelligence features were not added to all the iPhone models, like the older iPhone models. iPhone 11, 12, 13, 14, it was not added. So we can't test anything really like Genimoji, like Siri and ChatGPT. And you'll see that Samsung now has integrated Gemini with Hey Google. You just say Hey Google, and it will also like conduct searches even on Gemini, even on the regular Samsung phone. But with iPhone, it just looks like it's for the latest iPhone models. So that's pretty much upsetting in a way. So overall, I would say it's pretty great. We have come a long way with the iPhone. So these features are pretty great, especially with the calculator, call recording, and the customizations. They're pretty great. For some Android users, some of these have already been there. So I think for iPhone users, this is quite a good thing that iOS 18 has introduced these customizations and these features. But I think for users with older iPhone models, it doesn't really work. I think it's something that we have to adjust to, because we don't really have all the features, especially Apple Intelligence. And recently with iOS 18.3 notification summaries, you can't turn off. You can just put some summaries there, but you can't turn off for each application. So, and visual intelligence as well. And even when battery intelligence comes, I hope it is available to all the iPhone models and not just the newer iPhone models. And this will make these updates a bit worthwhile to install.